Hey, it's Alex from Android Central. We're here with Sony and the Xperia Z Ultra. So this is a new and very interesting device, 6.44-inch display, full HD 1080p. It's also using Sony's new triluminous display technology. So nice to see that on there. It's a big improvement on what we've seen on earlier Sony devices in terms of viewing angles and color quality. So great to see that there. In terms of just the basic physicality of the thing, we've got a 6.5mm thickness on this thing. So it's very, very thin, and Sony's also made a lot of efforts to have more curved edges on the side. So you might have noticed with the other Xperia Z, it was a little bit harsh around the edges. The lines weren't particularly smooth, so if you're carrying it in one hand, then it was a little bit uncomfortable. That's been changed. So new curves around the outside. In keeping with the same design language, though, we've got the power button down here, volume rocker next to it, a new screen protector on the front here. So Sony's still using the same built-in screen protectors, but it's a new design and it feels a lot nicer. It's a lot less obvious that it's on there, which is always good to see. So color options, you've got black and white and purple. We've got the black and white ones here today. This is the white one that we're using, just to get a better idea of the overall design. Magnetic charging port down below. We have the usual charging port somewhere along here. That's up at the top there. And along the side we've got micro SD, I should say, and micro SIM. On the inside, that's another interesting thing about this device. It's the first device that we're aware of running Snapdragon 800 CPU from Qualcomm. Very, very fast. Really great performance on this thing, and it's good to see you've got a lot more animation going on in the Sony UI here, a lot more dynamic than the old UI. So heading in the app drawer, we've got the usual selection of Sony apps. We've got PlayStation Mobile, we've got Music Unlimited, Video Unlimited. What's also interesting is this Sketch app. So let's just load that up, and this actually works with any normal pencil that you might have with you. So that's not just selected to that app, though. That will work anywhere in the UI, and Sony says it'll work with a normal pencil or with any metal tip pen. So there's no specific stylus for this device, but Sony is expecting you to just use anything that you might have lying around, I guess. So stylus input works pretty well, as you would hope, and on a device this size it's really useful to have the additional input options. So that's a very quick look at the Sony Xperia Z Ultra. It'll be coming out in Q3, and we'll bring you more as we have it. Thanks for watching.
Teknoloji bilgisinden herkese merhaba. Bu videomuzda sizler için Sony'nin yeni bir arkadaşı olan Sony Xperia Z Ultra'yı ön incelemesi gerçekleştireceğiz ya da diğer bir ifadeyle yorumlayacağız. Xperia ZU'yu diğerlerinden ayıran, diğerlerinden farklı kılan en büyük özelliği 6.4 inçlik Full HD ekranı. Full HD'yi bir kenara atalım, 6.4 inç onu farklı yapıyor. Çünkü Note 2'de bile 5.5 inçlik bir ekrandan bahsedip o ekrana çok yüksek diyorsak eğer, yani büyük diyorsak 6.4 inçlik bir ekrana gerçekten neredeyse 1 inç daha yüksek bir ekrandan bahsediyoruz. Herhalde şöyle tutarız onu da. Yani bu tutuş şekli bayağı kötü yani bir telefon için. Ben buna tablet diyorum. Siz ne derseniz bilmiyorum. Çünkü Note 8.0'ı bile ben telefon niyetine alan gördüm. Bunun için hiç yani bu ZU'ya yanaşmıyorum, hiç laf etmiyorum. Şimdi Xperia Z Ultra'yı daha doğrusu diğerlerinden yine ayıran bir özellik Snapdragon 800 işlemcisi. Üzerinde 2.2 GHz hızla çalışan 4 çekirdekli bu Snapdragon 800 işlemci. Samsung Galaxy S4'te kullanılan Exynos 5 Octa işlemcisinde bile fark atıyor. Yani açık ara performans konusunda birinci diyebiliriz. Ayrıca Adreno 320 eskiden ve tüm Full HD telefonlarda, daha doğrusu çoğu Full HD telefonda diyelim kullanılan Adreno 320 grafik birimi yerine artık Adreno 330 grafik birimi bulunuyor ve bunun yanında 2 GB RAM bulunuyor. Bu açıdan baktığımızda grafik konusunda çok yüksek bir oran ulaşacağını söyleyebiliriz. Full HD ekranlarda bence hiçbir sıkıntı yaşanmadan oyun oynatabilecek bir deneyim sunacak. En azından belki ayarları kısarak çok iyi bir deneyim yaşayabileceğinizi tahmin ediyorum. Çünkü sonuçta çok güçlü bir işlemciden bahsediyoruz. Bu platformların en iyisi. Onun dışında Full HD 3 millimetre desteğiyle verilen bir ekrana sahip olacak Full HD. Yanlış hatırlamıyorsam 342 piksel inç başına 342 piksel oran düşüyordu. Yani 342 pp diğer adıyla. Buradan da baktığımızda hani ikisi bir arada böyle Xperia Z ile alınabilecek yüksek performanslı bir cihaz olduğunu söyleyebiliriz. Diğer taraftan 6,5 milimetre kalınlığı var cihazın. Bu kalınlık çok ince. Sonuçta küçük bir küçücük telefon ve incecik bir telefondan bahsediyoruz. iPhone 5 ve Galaxy S4'de herkes ince der. 7,9 milimetre, hatta Z'ye de ince diyoruz biz. 7,9 milimetre ve iPhone'da 7,4 milimetre. Dolayısıyla bu 1 milimetre daha ince olması gayet iyi. Diğer taraftan telefon için neden alınmayacağının diğer sorusunun cevabı 212 gram ağırlığı var cihazın. Bu açıdan da baktığımızda gerçekten çok değişik bir yüksek ağırlıkta bir cihaz telefon için. Fakat tablet tarafından bakmak gerekirse çok hafif bir cihaz. Yani en hafif tablet fakat en ağır da telefon olmuş. En ince aynı zamanda telefon olmasa da çok ince bir telefon ve en ince tablet diyebiliriz. Hem telefon hem tablet alanında en güçlü cihaz olmuş. Çünkü en yeni donanımları kullanıyor. Bu arada 8 megapiksel XMOR sensörü kullanıyor, yani 13 megapiksellik XMOR sensörden vazgeçmiş Sony nedense. Belki de sensör boyutunu, daha doğrusu piksel boyutunu arttırmak için ya da Xperia Z'nin önünü tıkamamak için olabilir ya da yakın zamanda gelecek yeni bir amiral gemisi Z'nin devam sürümü olan Snapdragon 800 işlemcili 5 inçlik bir telefon, onun önünü tıkamamak için olabilir. Küçük kısıtlamalara gitmiş olabilir. Tabii ki su geçirmez. Xperia Z'de olduğu gibi aynı zamanda toz da geçirmez bir telefon. Bunun dışında microSD desteğiyle var. 16 GB'lık bir dahili hafıza bulunuyor üzerinde. Ve güzel bir detay yakalanmış. Yani Galaxy Note'daki not uygulamaları vardı. Galaxy, özür dilerim, Xperia Z U'da da bunlar konulmuş. Bir not almak için uygulamalar olacak deniyor. Bu da biraz kopyalama gibi olmuş ama gerçekten işe yarar özellikler. Sony'nin yine kendi arayüzü var üzerinde. Hani 3000 mAh'lik batarya var. Bu arada beni hayal kırıklığına uğratan bir detay oldu. Çünkü bir inçlik daha küçük telefon olan Note 2 bile 3100 mAh ve 5 inçlik telefon olan Butterfly S her ne kadar 10 milimetre gibi bir kalınlığı olsa da sonuçta 3200 mAh'lik bir batarya vardı. Ben bu cihazda hani bir 3500 falan bekliyordum en az. Bu da beni hayal kırıklığına uğratan detaylardan oldu fakat Sony'nin açıkladığı değerler işte karamsar değerler değil. Bunu zaten bekleyip göreceğiz diyelim. Bu videomuzda da Xperia Z Ultra'yı yorumladık. Gerçekten çok performanslı bir cihaz, çok güçlü bir cihaz her iki alanda da. Tekrar görüşelim. Hoşçakalın.
Siemanko, witam Was w kolejnym odcinku. Dzisiaj dzięki uprzejmości Sony Polska mam okazję rozpakować dla Was Sony Xperia Z Ultra. Tak więc przejdźmy do unboxingu. Po otworzeniu wieczka od bądź dużego pudełka ukazuje nam się nasz phablet. Jest on naprawdę bardzo dużych rozmiarów. Dalej w zestawie możemy znaleźć taką jakby stację dokującą, dzięki której będziemy mogli naładować nasz smartfon. Niestety w samplu testowym nie znalazłem kostki, którą będziemy mogli podłączyć do gniazdka, tak więc trzeba będzie sobie coś zorganizować. Niemniej jednak postaram się tą właśnie stację dokującą przetestować dla Was, bo uważam, że jest to całkiem fajne rozwiązanie. Ostatnią rzeczą, jaką możemy znaleźć w zestawie, jest multum papierków, których na pewno nikt nie czyta, więc nad tym nie będziemy się dłużej skupiać. Ok, teraz przejdźmy do pierwszego uruchomienia phabletu. Tak więc przyciskamy sobie przycisk Power. Smartfon zawibrował, co oznacza, że już się włącza. Tak naprawdę powinniśmy o nim mówić phablet, ponieważ są, jak już wcześniej wspomniałem, ogromnych rozmiarów. Mamy animację powitalną, więc dosłownie za moment telefon powinien nam się włączyć. I ciekawe, czy będzie trzeba go skonfigurować od początku. Dobra, ukazał nam się lock screen. I tak jak myślałem, trzeba go skonfigurować od podstaw jeszcze raz, więc resztą systemu zajmiemy się w pierwszych wrażeniach. I to było chyba na tyle w tym króciutkim unboxingu. Mam nadzieję, że przypadł Wam on do gustu, ponieważ został wykonany w nowej formule, więc koniecznie dajcie znać w komentarzach, jak się Wam podoba. No i oczywiście, jeśli macie jakieś pytania odnośnie Xperia Z Ultra, to śmiało możecie je zadawać poniżej w komentarzach, no i pisać na mojego maila. Tak więc ja się z Wami żegnam, pozdrawiam Was, cześć!
Hey guys, Mike here, the Detroit Borg with a look at the new Sony Xperia Z. This is the new flagship phone from Sony, featuring a 5-inch 1080p LCD display, as well as a 13 megapixel sensor, which is capable of HDR video. So there's a lot of things this can do, so let's get started with the unboxing. First, let's take a look around the packaging. I should note that this is the unlocked international version. So this is actually the version that ships in the UK. I just got it on my doorstep just a few minutes ago. Now on the back we have some references to the major features, including our 13 megapixel sensor. We have a 1.5 gigahertz quad core processor, that's a Snapdragon processor, HDR video. We have a 5-inch screen, as well as a front-facing camera. I believe that's what that's referring to. So lifting the lid, which is not taped by the way, we can see our Sony Xperia Z in the top tray. So here we go. Now packaging may vary depending on what carrier you pick this up from. So let's just unwrap this and slide it out. Alright, so as you can see, it's still wrapped in its plastic. Now this is a fully glass design, so we have a glass back panel and a glass front panel. Now Sony says that the back panel and front panel are the same glass, which means they're pretty shatter resistant. So let's go ahead and peel this off. There we go. This is the black version. This is available in two other colors, white and purple. Let's peel the front one off. There we go, very glossy, very large phone, but very thin, as you can see. Now let's set this aside for just a moment and take a look at what else is included. So it looks like they gave us some screen shields for the back and front with a squeegee and cloth. Now taking a quick look at the accessories, they've given us a Sony branded USB wall adapter. This is the UK version, obviously. They've also given us a micro USB cable, and this phone does support MHL, which will allow you to output video over the USB connector using the right adapter. This is Sony branded, so if you look in there, you'll see Sony branding. We also have a pair of Sony headphones. These are in-ear headphones with a remote and microphone, and they've also given us some ear tips to make sure that they fit our ears correctly. And they've given us some literature, so we have a quick start guide, which tells us about some of the buttons and features of the phone. And we also have some of the standard information, such as warranty information and some of the compliance information. Alright, so let's get back to the Xperia Z, and on the back you can see we have that very glossy edge-to-edge glass panel with the Xperia branding toward the center. You also have an NFC label there, just letting us know that the NFC sensor is right behind that portion of the back panel. You also have your 13 megapixel autofocusing camera with HDR video. Right below that is the LED flash, and you have your microphone. Now along the top you'll find a covered port. As you can see along the side, every panel here is sort of a blue, kind of a dark blue translucent panel. Looks very nice. You can see as it picks up the light it reflects that blue color. But behind this flap here is your headphone jack. So you can see that right there. There's your headphone jack. You can cover that up. Actually, if you look inside, you can see this kind of rubberized, so it does create a nice seal around the jack. Along the left side, you'll find these two connection points for accessories like a dock or charger. Up here, we'll find a door hiding the micro SD card slot. Now, this holds up to 32 gig cards, so not 64 gigs in this case. So they do include 16 gigs of storage in the phone, but you can expand it up to 32 gigs with the SD card slot. You also have another door here hiding the micro USB connection. So there you go. And that's one way to charge it. As you can see, we also have that rubber seal around the doors to keep it nice and airtight. Now there's not much along the bottom, but at the corner you actually find a hook for a lanyard. You also find your speaker grill. Here is your volume rocker, up and down. They also call this a zoom rocker, so if you want to zoom in on your photos, that's a feature built into the OS as well. You also have your power switch here, so that's your sleep, wake, and power on and off button. A very nice button with that chrome design. You also have your SIM tray here. So I've already taken out the SIM tray because it's kind of hard to get out of there, but there is your SIM tray. So all you have to do is load up your SIM, slide it in, and you're good to go. Just seal up the door. Now taking a close look at the front of the phone, you can see we have our earpiece, which is mirrored by the mouthpiece at the bottom. Up here we have our 2.2 megapixel front-facing camera, which is capable of recording video at 1080p. So that's better than most cameras I've seen, or front-facing cameras I've seen, which usually stop at 720p. We also have our ambient light sensor, proximity sensor, and an LED notification light. Now at the bottom you won't find any backlit capacitive buttons. In this case, all of those will appear on the screen. Alright, so let's go ahead and start this up for the first time. I'm just going to hold that power button. So while that's starting up, let me just talk about this display. So this is a 1080p display over 5 inches, which gives us a pixel density of 441. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at what we got here. We're going to set this up for the first time. So you just swipe up. You can either swipe up or swipe down to unlock the phone. There we go. We're going to go for English, United States. Should be down here. Click done. All right, so it just wants us to read the warranty. We're going to agree to that. And wants me to insert the SIM, which we're going to skip for now. We're going to accept the data disclaimer. We're going to accept the usage info. And that's all there is to it, so we're already set to go. So you can see we have several home screens here. Now I'm going to do a full review and overview of this operating system and all of its unique Sony features. So I just want to show you exactly what this looks before that video shows up at the end of this week. I've already played with this phone. I'm pretty impressed with it so far. It does have a heavily modified version of Android 4.1. No word yet on when 4.2 is coming, but I'm sure it'll be updated eventually. For example, you have your app drawer here. You can also go up to customize to get to your widgets, and here you can add home screens and manage your home screens. You can also adjust your themes, so you can pick the theme you want, which will change the wallpaper and some of the coloring. You also have your standard apps, including the Chrome browser, which is default, the Play Store, messaging, and your phone app. On the front, we have all of these Sony services, including Walkman, Album, Movies, and Sony Select. You have lots of widgets here relating to music, of course. So this is the Walkman widget. This is your photo gallery widget. You have Video Unlimited, Music Unlimited, and Track ID. These are two Sony services, so this is basically Sony's version of iTunes. So this is where you can purchase music and video. You can also rent video as well. You also have an app here for identifying music. So this will allow you, it's basically like a Shazam app. Up here we have our widget here for controlling screen brightness or Bluetooth, toggling Wi-Fi on and off. We have our weather widget, which is defaulted to the wrong location. I'm not in Washington. And we have Sony Select. So anyway, we're going to talk about this a bit later. There is one more feature I'm going to show you here that's unique to the Sony experience, which is this sort of over widget or widget bar. So these are called small apps. So this will give you a little app here like a calculator which hovers over what you're doing and will go translucent when you're doing something else in the background. Of course, you can close that. So that's just a quick look at the operating system, and stay tuned for more. So that's going to do it for me in this initial look at the Sony Xperia Z. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you again in the next video.
Find out more about this fantastic offer by clicking the link in the description.
Да, продавай Бентли. Да, мне больше не нужен. Да, спасибо. Снимаешь, что ли? Привет, друзья! Здравствуйте. Это droider.ru. Как видите, мы поднялись на одно из самых высоких зданий Москвы для того, чтобы посмотреть на один из самых больших смартфонов в мире. Это Sony Xperia Ultra. Встречайте новый мегафон. Реклама какая-то получается. Мега-смартфон от компании Sony. И, собственно, первый мега-смартфон от компании Sony. Давайте на него смотреть и попробуем понять, что это и для чего он вообще нужен. Диагональ экрана. Самая важная характеристика, которая бросается тут в глаза и которую нужно сказать, это 6,44 дюйма. Почти 6,5 дюймов. Это действительно очень много. И что примечательно, это первый смартфон с такой огромной диагональю экрана, в который вставили матрицу Full HD. Это круто. 1920 на 1080 пикселей. Спасибо, можно похлопать. Ура, наконец-таки кто-то догадался, что в большом экране должно быть большое разрешение. Вторая вещь, которая очень хороша в данном смартфоне, это то, что здесь новый суперкрутой процессор от компании Qualcomm, который называется Snapdragon 800, и мне кажется, это первый смартфон с данным чипом, который я держу в руках. Это здорово, замечательно, и действительно, по первым ощущениям, смартфон весьма шустер, по крайней мере, в своих менюшках, работает быстро, быстрее, чем другие девайсы от Sony, которые в этом году выходили. Это заметно, мне кажется. Третья вещь, которую нужно сказать, это очень тонкий корпус. Смотрите, он тоньше, чем Xperia Z, которая вышла в этом году, 6,5 дюймов всего лишь толщина этого девайса. Ну и, конечно же, он, как и Xperia Z, влагозащищенный, с ним можно купаться, его можно окунать в воду. И что важно, вы скажете, нифига себе, как же его можно окунать в воду, если здесь есть разъемчик для наушников? Друзья, можно. После того, как вы искупаетесь, единственное, не рекомендуется 2 часа подключать сюда наушники, потому что, ну, знаете, маленький какой-то там ток бывает между наушниками и девайсом, и вдруг там что-нибудь окислится. В общем, искупались, положили, посушили, потом можно заново слушать музыку. Ну и теперь давайте еще взглянем на корпус. Он Гладкий, стеклянный, в общем, такой же параллелепипед, как и Xperia Z. Здесь есть разъемчик для подключения к док-станции, она будет идти в комплекте, кстати говоря, можно будет заряжать. Здесь есть две крышечки, которые можно открыть. За одной спрятаны разъемы для microSD карточки до 64 гигабайт будет воспринимать девайс. И для SIM-карточки, с другой стороны, у нас есть разъемчик для подключения microUSB, чтобы заряжать телефон от компьютера или другой какой-то зарядки, и также перекидывать файлы. Других здесь открывающихся штучек нет. Кнопка включения, как и прежде, под большим пальцем правой руки, чуть ниже качелька громкости, она достаточно маленькая, но, в принципе, нажимается комфортно. Камера 8 мегапикселей, чуть попроще, чем в Xperia Z. Фронтальная камера 2 мегапикселя. Также в основной камере сенсор XMUR-RS, фирменный сенсор Sony. И 2 гигабайта оперативки, 16 гигабайт встроенной памяти, из них доступно 11. Все, что нужно? Нет, не все. Батарейка 3000 мАч. Это, кстати, много, учитывая то, насколько тонкий девайс получился. По времени работы пока непонятно, сколько будет он выживать в режиме мегаполиса, но будем надеяться, что все будет нормально. Давайте немножко взглянем на прошивку. Она слегка изменилась по сравнению с той прошивкой, которая вышла в этом году от Sony. Например, менюшка получилась светлая. Здесь стоит Android 4.2.2. Вот, менюшка светлая. Еще можно из новшеств увидеть в списке приложений вот такую вот всплывающую штуку слева, которая позволяет нам отсортировать программки в том или ином порядке, как мы хотим. Это удобнее, чем, знаете, как раньше нажать меню, сортировать по и так далее. И что-то еще из прошивки я хотел показать. Ах да. Этот девайс позволяет прикасаться к нему и управлять им новыми, так сказать, манипуляторами. Например, можно взять обычный грифельный карандаш. Ну, вот это, кстати, не совсем обычный, конечно, грифельный карандаш, но если бы у нас был под рукой самый обычный деревянный, я думаю, мы тоже проверили бы и попробовали. Но, скорее всего, будет все окей. Видите, можно управлять и работать при помощи карандаша. Также есть информация, что аналогично все происходит и с вилкой. Да, вилка, наш будущий манипулятор. Так, кстати говоря, когда вы вытягиваете вот эту шторку сверху при помощи не пальца, скажем так, кстати, с вилкой будет работать, интересно? Ну-ка проверим. Вытяни ее вилкой. Да, с вилкой тоже работает. Появляется меню, новый набросок и новая заметка. И вы можете что-то там нарисовать. Привет! Ну, как видите, под наклоном не очень хорошо работает. Ребята, пишу я. С сожалением о том, что наши видеокасты смотрят только мужики. Привет, девчонки, если кто-то смотрит. Итак, можно рисовать при помощи карандаша. Это прикольно. Также можно любым другим металлическим предметом, как мы только что и продемонстрировали. Что еще? Вот так это будет выглядеть, если вы попробуете с этой штуковиной позвонить по телефону где-нибудь наружу. Отдельно, кстати, можно будет купить специальную Bluetooth гарнитурку, которая будет крепиться, например, на ваш карман. И вы можете эту штуку бросить просто в сумку. Особенно если вы девушка, вам очень удобно будет бросить эту штуку в сумку, а таскать с собой тупо вот такую гарнитурку и через нее звонить. Наверное, это может быть удобно. Что по вариантам комплектации? Будет 3 цвета: черный, белый и вот такой вот фиолетовый. Пока у нас фиолетового ультры нету, есть вот фиолетовая Z-ка, такая же будет и ультра. И что, Валера, я забыл сказать про него? Мне кажется, ничего не забыл. Видео? Что с видео?
Показать.
Видео показать. Показать видео. Давайте посмотрим видео. Сидеть на большом экране, почему не посмотреть видео? Здесь есть какое-то кино про... Не знаю про что. Просто какое-то демо-кино. Это... Мне кажется, это какое-то... Ой, это в плохом качестве. Тут есть какой-то режим, который улучшает качество видео. Мы тут немножко его потыркали, но, честно говоря, не сильно. Это не всегда это заметно. Он подкручивает контрастность немножко и немного выкручивает цвета. Ну вот так выглядит видео. Я, кстати, не уверен, что это Full HD видео, но... Короче, круто смотреть на большом экране и все такое. Мне кажется, это любопытный девайс будет в плане замены двух девайсов, которые вы могли бы купить раздельно, например, смартфон и планшет. Вместо этого вы можете купить один вот такой, если вы готовы на то, чтобы не таскать его в кармане, потому что таскать в кармане его действительно ужасно. Если вот так положишь, ну это такая получается какая-то... То есть как поднять коленку выше, у него уже становится сложно. Я уж не говоря о том, чтобы сделать какое-нибудь упражнение. Ну, как-то так. В общем, напишите в комментариях, что вы думаете по этому поводу. Как видите, мода на огромные мега-смартфоны началась, и Sony поддерживает эту моду. Напишите, купили бы вы такой девайс своей девушке или своему другу-азиату, потому что в Азии, говорят, очень популярны такие девайсы с огромными экранами. Ну ладно, в общем, закончили с ним. Это называется Sony Xperia Ultra. И теперь переходим ко второй штуковине, которую нам сегодня показали. Это часы, которые называются Sony Smartwatch 2. Вот так вот они выглядят. Может быть, вы помните, что года 2 назад Sony выпустила первую версию этих часов. Вот это новая инкарнация. Они более стильные, очень клевый дизайн. Мне он нравится, смотрите, такие квадратные, объемные. Здесь есть крутые блестящие фасочки, есть кнопка включения, как на смартфонах. Есть даже 3 сенсорных кнопки, как на Android, но здесь будет стоять не Android, а нечто похожее, как нам сказали. Меню, дом и назад, здесь есть кнопки. Есть также разъемчик для подключение по microUSB, чтобы заряжать его, и, видимо, что туда можно еще закидывать. Кроме этого, тут есть даже встроенный NFC-модуль. Он нужен для того, чтобы вы смогли раз и навсегда синхронизировать, ну, подключить эти часы к своему смартфону, подружить их, так сказать. В общем, когда их купили, вот так разочек сделал, бум, и они типа заработали, и будут вам уведомления всякие приходить, и все такое. Вы спрашиваете, почему я не включаю эти часы? Да потому что этот образец не включабелен. Это просто концепция дизайна, как они будут выглядеть. Надеюсь, в скором времени нам удастся пощупать настоящий рабочий образец, который показывает время, погоду и всякие уведомления из Твиттера. Думаю, это будет интересно. Давайте посмотрим, как это выглядит на руке. Я снимаю свои замечательные китайские котлы и заменяю их на замечательные японские котлы. Вообще, на самом деле, я бы с удовольствием отсюда ушел с такими часиками. Единственный, конечно, недостаток их то, что они пока не работают. Ну ничего, жалко.
Хорошо работает.
Китайские клевые. Правда, приходится их каждый день заводить, но ничего. Вот так это выглядит на руке, мне кажется, весьма стильно. Особенно, если руки такие же загорелые, как у меня. Спонсор загара. Солярий у Даши. Ну вот. И что я хотел сказать, что аналогично, как и с большими смартфонами, начинается в этом году новая гонка умных часов, которую опять запускает Sony. Я надеюсь, что в скором времени мы увидим похожие девайсы и от Apple, и от Google, и от Samsung. Но то, что Sony сделала это первым, это круто. Оба устройства появятся в так называемом третьем квартале 2013 года. Третий квартал начинается в июле, скажу я вам. Но, конечно, будучи реалистами, можем сказать, что наиболее вероятный исход заключается в том, что эти девайсы появятся в сентябре, когда все люди вернутся из отпусков, из дачи, и подумают такие: оба-на, а что бы мне такого купить в ближайшем салоне связи? А там такие: Sony покупай. И да, в общем, да, что касается цены вот этого девайса, Sony Xperia Ultra, нам сказали, что он будет стоить, возможно, даже дешевле 30 тысяч рублей, что, мне кажется, весьма неплохим предложением, учитывая те спеки, которые сюда запихали. Я-то, честно говоря, поставил бы ценник от 33 тысяч. Ну вот, если будет меньше, это будет клево. Окей, мне кажется, мы закончили. В общем, 2 девайса сегодня Sony представила. Sony Xperia Ultra, Sony Smartwatch 2 и... Спасибо вам, что посмотрели этот ролик. Подписывайтесь. Мы будем очень вам благодарны. Будут новые обзоры и все такое. Пока!
Hi guys, Varun here from Phone Arena, and I'm back with another unboxing of a new accessory for the Sony Xperia Z Ultra. This is a magnetic charging dock. So as you might have noticed in our Xperia Z Ultra coverage, there were some magnetic connectors on the side of the device, as you can see here. So this is a magnetic pin connector. This can actually be used for charging the device on this dock. So I found this at a shop right in Hong Kong and kind of got this, considering it's a pretty cool way to charge a phone without even plugging it into a dock, but just placing it on the device via magnetic pins. The Nexus 1 had something like this a couple of years back, and this is I think the Xperia Z also had this feature, but we never managed to get a dock for it. So this is the first time we are playing with such a dock. So it has a model number DK30. It's priced at about I think 35 to 40 US dollars. I think it's available in India as well for a similar price, about 2,000 odd rupees or 2,500 odd rupees. So this is the packaging, and this is the back side. Interestingly, it says that it can be used with the cover also on the phone, which is kind of cool. Apple, even the official dock does not work with the iPhone 5s with the official case on it. So this is kind of cool by Sony, considering they have taken some extra care to make it work with the cover as well. So we'll try that in a bit. This is a retail packaging, nothing fancy here. So let's quickly get rid of this sticker on the outside. So that's the flap on the outside. So I don't know how to get rid of this guy here. Not sure how this works. Oops. It's turning out more interesting than expected initially. And so that's the dock, and you have some marketing material here, important information. Let's see what it says. So it says limited warranty and all that stuff. So doesn't seem like any instruction manual, it seems more like some regulatory information. So that, and this is a DK30, DK31. I'm sure, I think there are two variants of this. So this is how it says. So let's quickly see the device itself before we take a look at this. So it says do not connect to computer. It says it's only for a wall charger. It's kind of interesting. So let's take a look. Wow, it's kind of small considering the Ultra is a big phone. So yes, the cable is kind of soldered onto the dock itself. How do you get rid of this guy? So that's the dock, and it comes with a USB cable, and it plugs into the wall charger. And this is looks like something like an adapter for charging it with or without a case. So we'll take a look at that in a second. So this is so it has some kind of protective film over here. So it says made in China, model DK30. And let's get rid of this film here. So as you can see, these are the connectors for the phone. So this is how the phone sits on the dock. So as you can see, you heard the click. So the magnet is in action. So and the phone has been plugged in. So we are not plugged in yet, but the moment you plug it in, I think it will start charging. And it's pretty cool considering the Xperia Z is a bulky phone, and you don't want to be plugging it in every single time, like opening the flap and plugging the charger in. This doesn't require you to access the micro USB at all, and it just charges if you place it right in the center of the dock. I'm not sure how difficult it is or easy it is to get hold of the pin correctly every single time. I think you kind of needs to slide it, and when it kind of you hear the click sound, it means that it's locked in place. And what else? So that's that, and I'm not sure how the adapter works, so let's quickly take a look at that. So I think you have to open this guy. So that's kind of freaked out for a second, thinking I broke it, but not really. So it still works. So this is how you place it here. So this seems slightly more wider than the one which was by default. So I think you can kind of place it with a case on the phone. I'm not sure if you have such a thin case for the Ultra. So if you have a case on the phone, I think you can place it that way. I'm not sure which case, but probably the official one. So that's that, and let's remove this guy and put the old one itself. So this is the one by default, and yes, so it's pretty cool. And let's see if you can connect it to the AC outlet and see if it charges. So you just plug the dock into the wall charger, and as you can see, it shows up some screen called Smart Connect, charging dock connected. It detected the dock, and it says device will initiate view pre-configured set of actions. Tap enable to initiate. On next page you can edit settings for view. So let's say, so it kind of lets us do something when you plug it, like place the phone on the charger. So when charging dock, we can say play tracks. Kind of cool that you can probably turn on the brightness to like full or something like that, and we'll try that for a second. And let's start, let's say start slideshow. So probably let's quickly see if we can start something else. So let's probably start the browser, and at the end probably you can go to home screen when you remove the phone from the dock. So let's try that for a second now. So let's go outside now. So now the phone is kind of not on the dock, we are doing something, say we are reading our email, and now we plug it in. Let's see how it works. Not sure if I plugged it in. So it's plugged in now, and pretty cool. It actually opened the Chrome browser, set the brightness at 100%. So, and I'm sure it's going to be doing the same when I remove the phone. I'm going to be going to the home screen without even touching the phone. So it's kind of cool. So it went to the home screen while removing it from the dock, and I'm going to be placing it again now, and it's going to be opening the web browser and setting the brightness 100%. So you can do a lot of cool things with that app. I don't know, it's called Start Actions. So it's called View Smart Connect Dock. Sony has done some interesting stuff here. So you can edit all this, and let's see what else. So you can do something with time as well. So if you're going to be plugging it into a dock in the night, you can probably turn on the clock mode, and if it's probably in the daytime, you can probably start Angry Birds or start Chrome or whatever. I'm sure this would help like the brightness setting, because it's actually charging. You can afford to have the phone in full brightness, and probably at the end of the charging you can set the brightness to something like, say, more of a day-to-day use brightness for like 50%. Really cool stuff. So you can do a bunch of stuff. I think you can do a separate video just for these kind of actions, or we'll probably do a little bit of more research and come back to you on what and all is possible. And there's even screen mirroring, so you can actually, if you're placing it in the dock, charging dock, via magnetic charging dock, you can actually say beam it out to a TV or a compatible display. And it says read current time as well. This is kind of cool. Let's see how it works. So let's read current time. So let's go out. Let's remove the phone.
Current time is 7:14 p.m.
So that was cool. It read out the time, current time. So it goes one after the other, the actions. So it first set the brightness. It first went to the home screen, then set the brightness, and then came out and read out the time. So really cool stuff. It's pretty pricey at about $40. Too much for a charging dock. Not much of it. Not even an audio out here. It's just a soldered USB cable right on the dock. But then Sony doesn't advertise it as anything else. It clearly says magnetic charging dock for the Xperia Z Ultra. So can't really blame them. But still, it's expensive at about 2,000 odd rupees for just a charging dock. But then still, it does keep the phone stable and also does some cool stuff. So if you're looking for an official wireless charging dock for the Xperia Z Ultra, this is a really cool device to get. And yes, do hit a like if you like this video, and do subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.
Hi there, this is Ranjit from tech2buzz.com, and in this video we're going to do the full in-depth review for this Sony Xperia Z Ultra, which is a massive Android phone by Sony. It sports a 6.4 inch screen, and this is by nevertheless a phablet. You can't call it a phone, it's huge. And this is my Samsung Galaxy S4. If you just notice how puny the S4 looks in front of this, and it's a great phone. The specs are great and the performance is great, but few of you have asked about the usability, and I would say that yes, you can hold it like this in your hand, in the palm, but single hand operations is a bit difficult. For example, typing, you need to use both your hands, and some of you asked how comfortable is it to move around with this phone. For example, if you make a voice call, you look something like this. This is how the phone looks if you place it towards your ear. Needless to say, it's pretty big, and also it can fit in your trouser pockets. This is a casual comfort fit jeans, and if I place it inside, it goes in, but again if I sit around, it's a little bit tight, and if you wear tight jeans, then the phone might be very tight fit and a bit uncomfortable, I would say. So yes, you can carry it around in the pocket and also in your front pocket if you keep it here. It's going, but it's coming out. So nevertheless, you can carry it around in your pocket, but it will be a little bit awkward. So let's get on with the full in-depth review for this Sony Xperia Z Ultra. And this is the Sony Xperia Z Ultra, and we're going to do the full review for this phone. I've already done the unboxing for this phone, so if you want to check what comes inside the box and a general overview, you can check out this unboxing video. And let me start with some specs. The specs on this phone are top notch. The biggest factor about this phone is the screen. It sports a 6.4 inch screen. That's a full HD, that's a 1080p screen. And the PPI is also very good. It comes to a PPI of 344. And again, look at the viewing angles, and the text is very crisp. The earlier Sony Xperia phones had an issue with the viewing angles, but Sony has fixed that in this Z Ultra. And before I proceed, I want to thank Faisal Communications for providing this unit for review. And let me talk about the pricing also. In India, the price quoted on the box is 46,990, but Faisal Communications quoted me a street price of around 40,000 for this phone. And we were talking about the specs, so let's continue. It has a quad-core processor clocked at 2.2 GHz, which is based on the Snapdragon S800 chipset, so it's a blazingly fast processor. Also, the GPU on this is Adreno 330. And it comes with 2 GB of RAM. Internal storage is 16 GB. Out of that, you get around almost about 10 GB out of the box. Coming to the battery is sealed. It's a 3050 milliampere battery, and in my casual testing, I could not do extensive testing with the battery. I would say it could last one working day. Again, one thing I did notice is that the battery life was okayish, but if you start to play some heavy games, then the battery starts to tank down a little bit. So if you're a person who likes to play a lot of 3D games, then you might have to charge the phone twice a day. Otherwise, with casual usage, I would say it can last one working day. And also the good thing is, let me show you the Android version that comes with this, and Sony has added some of the quick toggles here. That was my complaint with earlier Xperia phones, so that's fixed. Let's look at the settings, then I'll give you a physical overview. If you go to about the phone, we have the Android version 4.2.2, that's Jelly Bean, and Sony has stated that this phone will soon get the 4.3 update. So that's a good thing. And as I talked about the storage, you can add a micro SD card. For example, as I added a 8 GB micro SD card, but I was not able to transfer apps that are on the internal storage to the micro SD card. That's the standard with most of the Jelly Bean phones, and that's the same with this one. Also, you get decent amount of storage, as I told, around 10 GB, so that should be enough for most of the apps. I would suggest that add a micro SD card and store all your videos, photographs, etc. on the micro SD card. Coming to the display, again, we do have the mobile Brevia engine on this one, and we also have the auto brightness sensor, and we also have a pulse notification light. It's over here actually, and if you get a missed call and when you're charging, this will glow. So as you can see, the gorgeous thing is the display, and we don't have any physical buttons. The back, home and the multitasking button is part of the display like the Xperia Z ZL. And let me give you a quick physical overview. On the top, we actually have nothing. We have this 3.5mm headphone jack over here, and again, do notice how slim the phone is. It's a very slim phone. It's just a 6.5mm phone, and it also actually does not weigh that much. It's just 212 grams, and it was comfortable to hold, I would say. It was not looking like I was holding a very bulky and a heavy phone, so that's a good thing. We have the power on off button, and here I have a problem. The power on off button is a little bit resist to my liking, so it's a little bit hard to hunt down. It should have been a little bit more tactile. We have the volume rocker beneath that, and we have an opening for the lanyard over this end, and this is the opening for the speakerphone. And on this end we have the opening for the proprietary dock that you can use for charging. You have to buy this separately, and we can open this flap, and the micro USB slot is over here. And let me show you this one also. This flap also actually opens like this, and you can add your micro SIM and a micro SD card here. Again, this phone is water resistant, and Sony says that if all these flaps, these both flaps are sealed properly, it can withstand in water for up to 30 minutes, up to a depth of 1.5 meters. So again, it's a waterproof phone. And if you notice, the headphone jack is not covered with flaps, and even though it's not covered with the flap, it's water resistant. You have to just shake out the water when you take it out, and you're good to go. Moving towards the back, we have just a 8 megapixel camera, and also Sony decided not to put a LED flash, which is kind of surprising. And I would say the camera performance is just okay-ish. And here I felt that the phone does not excel. The camera is just okay-ish. It's not great. I have actually done an in-depth review regarding the camera performance. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the camera performance review. It just says N, that means it's NFC enabled, the Sony logo, and at the bottom it just says Xperia. And immediately if you notice, this phone is a fingerprint magnet. It attracts fingerprints like crazy. And again, moving towards the front, we have a 2 megapixel camera that can also shoot video in full HD, that's 1080p. We have the sensors, Sony, and we have the opening for the earpiece, and the voice call quality that I got was pretty good. And let me unlock the phone now. You can just swipe away. And this is the standard home screen that we get. And as I told you, this is the new Sony UI that we have started to see with this Xperia Z ZL. You can pinch like this and add more home screens if you want. You can add your widgets, apps, etc. And the good thing is that if you notice, there are a lot of icons that you can see on the screen. And also if you open the app tray, at a stretch you can see 30 apps. So Sony is making good use of the large screen estate found on this phone. Sony did install quite a bit of third-party apps that were pre-installed on this phone. That's a little bit annoying, like Big Flex, Flipkart, and Phone a Day. Office Suite is okay, I would say. But again, a lot of third-party apps were pre-installed. So that's one annoying thing that I do not like, that these manufacturers preload all junk on the phone. Apart from that, I would say the performance is really good. And in my day-to-day operations, I would say I hardly face any issues of lagginess. As you can see, the phone is very smooth to operate, and again the processor, that's the quad-core processor, is also pretty snappy, and I could actually play even high-end games. I tested it with casual games also, high-end games also. It could run all of them, and I have to say, even in benchmarks, I got the best scores till date on any Android phone. It could even beat the Samsung Galaxy S4. So if you are interested in the gaming part and the benchmarking parts, you can check out the other videos I made regarding that. All these other videos regarding the Xperia Z Ultra that I made will be in the show notes. Now let me just swipe away all the apps. And one more thing, if you notice, is these are the new small apps, and these are kind of multitasking apps. For example, let me just open up the web browser. Let's just open up the web browser. Where is the web browser? Let's open up Chrome. And this is the Chrome web browser. And for example, if I hit this is kind of multitasking. These are small apps, and these can run over existing applications. And Sony does provide quite a bit of them. And this, you hit this arrow and you get to this one. And you can also go here and install these mini apps, small apps that Sony likes to call them, and you can add more from the Play Store also. And there is a good selection of these small apps. So that's kind of multitasking with this one. And let me just go back to the web browser, and let's as we are connected to my Wi-Fi network, let's do some web browsing. Let's go to our website. Again, if you can see, the keyboard is pretty wide and easy to type, but one annoying thing is that they have a lot of real estate. They should have had the 1 2 3 4 number key over this. I don't know why they omitted that, so that's kind of surprising, I would say. Let's just go to tech2buzz.com. And again, as you can see, it's loading it very quickly. And again, as I told you, the screen quality is very good and the resolution is also great. That's 1080p. Even without zooming also, actually you can read the web pages. But again, if you want to zoom out, zoom in and zoom out, that's also smooth. There's no issues. As you can see, it's very good. And let me just open up one of the stories. For example, let's open up this LG Optimus G Pro story. We have a YouTube video that's embedded on this web page. So let's try to play it back. Let's change the orientation. And again, if you notice, that was also quick. And let's play it back. And I'll maximize the volume. Once again.
Hi there, this is Ranjit from tech2buzz.com, and in this video we're going to do the full review for this LG Optimus G Pro. This is a
the thing is that it can play it back without any issues, as you can see. But one thing I found is that the speakerphone quality is actually pretty low on this phone. That's one annoying thing I had with this phone. Maybe just the fact is that the phone is so slim that Sony couldn't put decent size speakers. But yes, the speaker quality is actually, speakerphone quality is pretty low on this phone. Let's also go and try some heavy websites. Let's request the desktop version. And let's go to techspot.com. Again, if you notice, it loads it actually very quickly. And also, I would say, because of the large screen size, if you browse the web a lot on the go, you will definitely enjoy this phone. It's just great to do web browsing on such a large screen. It's actually very easy. And let me just open up one more story. And again, as you can see, it loads the web pages very quickly, and the pinch to zoom gesture is also very smooth. So no issues with that. So in terms of web browsing, you won't have any problem with this phone. Now coming to the media playback also, here I had some very good experience with the phone. And the good thing is that by just using a USB OTG cable, you can attach pen drives. I also tried to attach a PS3 controller, and I could attach that, and it worked. And I could play some of the games using the PS3 controller. For example, Dead Trigger works with the PS3 controller. So USB OTG support is there with the phone, but you don't get the USB OTG cable. You have to buy it separately. And to demonstrate that, let me just first launch the YouTube app. So YouTube is opening, and let's just go to my own channel, and let's actually watch the unboxing video of this Xperia Z Ultra itself. And as you can note, and as you can notice, it's playing it in HD quality. As you can see here, HD. So I did play a lot of YouTube videos with this phone, and I didn't have any problems. So again, watching videos will be a very good experience with this phone. Also, let me show you this. Let's just attach this pen drive. I have some videos on that. And let's try to play it back actually, and you can just attach that, and it's attached, and as you can see, it's glowing. That means it's working. And actually we have a file manager that was pre-installed, file commander. I'm going to use that, and this is actually my external drive. And let's play back this nature video. That's a 1080p video. And as you can see, it's playing it without any issues via this USB thumb drive. So as you can see, in terms of media playback also, you'll have a very good experience with the phone.
And the only thing is that, as I mentioned, the speaker volume is not as loud as I would have expected for such a large phone. Let me just get out of that. Now coming to the camera, as I mentioned earlier, it has an 8 megapixel shooter, and the camera interface is very simple. I won't go into depth regarding this one because I've already made a dedicated video regarding the camera performance. You can check that out. And we do have this normal mode and the superior auto mode in this one. But if you go in the superior auto mode, the maximum resolution goes down to 7 megapixel. But it auto adjusts the scenes for you. Regarding the photographs that I could take, as it does not have any flash, as you can see, this is in completely artificial light. It does a decent job, but there is a fair bit amount of noise that creeps in the photographs. That's what I've noticed. I've actually taken a lot of shots with this phone, so you can check out the camera review for more info. But I would say that outdoors it does a decent job in natural lighting. Indoors also, as you see, this photograph I took indoors, it's okay, but there is a little bit of noise in the picture. In terms of the video, I did not like the video performance. The videos that it takes are actually a little bit soft to my liking, and also the image stabilization option in the video was not that great. So yes, the camera is pretty decent, I would say, but it's not the best. Regarding the front facing camera, I tested it with Skype video calls, and I could make Skype video calls without any issues. Let me also show you the messaging app. This is the standard messaging app. And again, as I showed you, this is the keyboard. You do get the predictive text at the top, and it's actually fairly comfortable to type like this. But again, single hand typing and single hand operation is actually very difficult with this phone. Most of the time I had to use both the hands to operate the phone, and also you can change it in this orientation. But again, I don't think so it's a great idea moving in this orientation, because you need to actually stretch your hands because the phone is pretty wide. For typing, I found the best experience like this, typing with 2 fingers. Now let me also show you the multi-touch points, and we do get full 10 multi-touch points with this phone. And another thing about this phone is the screen is very sensitive. This has to be one of the most sensitive screen that I've seen on an Android phone, and actually you can use a pencil and just navigate around. It's so sensitive. And also, due to the sensitivity, I had a great time playing games on the phone. This is the dialer. Again, as I said, it is a little bit awkward. They should have provided an option of a smaller dialer. Sometimes you need to stretch around a little bit. Again, as I said, single hand operations is very difficult. You cannot just reach all parts of the phone with just holding it in single hand. Now let us kill all the apps that are running. We'll just swipe them away like this, and let me run this Android system info. And as you can see, out of that 2 GB RAM, when we kill all the apps, the available free RAM is a healthy almost 1 GB. And due to this healthy free RAM that's available to the phone was actually very responsive, and also while playing heavy games or any app that are on, even heavy apps, I did not face issues of lagginess with this phone. So Sony did actually pretty good optimization with this phone. So in your day-to-day operations, you won't face any issues of lagginess or slowdown with this phone. So what do I feel about this Sony Xperia Z Ultra? I would say in terms of performance, it's top notch. It's one of the fastest Android phones that I've tested. But again, it's a very big phone. Again, to give you an idea, the Galaxy S4, which some people think is big, just compare that. This is huge. And again, it will be okay for people who are used to very large screen phones. And I would suggest that if you're planning to buy this phone, definitely go to a local store, handle the phone for 5 minutes, and then decide if it's okay for you or not. Because some of the people which I showed them, they thought that it is a tablet, and for some people they liked it very much. Actually, many of the people actually liked the looks of this phone. It's actually a very sleek looking phone, and it gives a slab of glass. It just looks like a slab of glass. So in terms of the looks department, Sony did a great job. But again, if you're going to buy this phone, go to a local store, handle it, and then decide. Now coming to some of the cons that I have with the phone, the performance is top notch, as I said, no issues, but the camera, that's just an 8 megapixel shooter, is a downer, and I don't get the fact that why did Sony not put a 13 megapixel camera like that they put on the Sony Xperia Z or the ZL. The camera on those phones were much better than this one. And also one thing I did find is that these days many of the high-end Android phones do have the IR blaster by which you can control televisions and other devices. That's simply missing on this phone. As I already said, the power key, I'm not a big fan of it. You have to hunt around, and the travel is actually pretty less, so it's a little bit difficult at times. Maybe you'll get used to it after a few days, but this is also a little bit of a downer for me. And again, as I said, another thing is just look at the fingerprints. I wiped this phone before the review, and now just look at it. After 15 or 20 minutes of operation, it's a fingerprint magnet. But apart from these minor cons, I would say it's an excellent Android phone. And if you're okay with the size of this phone and you have the budget for it, I would say that you can go with this phone. I hope you found this video review helpful. If you found it helpful, I'll appreciate if you can click the like button. Thank you. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.
Dobrý den, vítám vás na našem webu Xperia.cz a našem YouTube videokanále. Právě teď se díváte na první phablet od společnosti Sony Mobile, to znamená model Sony Xperia Z Ultra. Navíc, co už jste měli možnost toto zařízení vyzkoušet, tak mi jistě dáte za pravdu, že ten přístroj je skutečně úžasný, špičkové zpracování, ohromný výkon, velmi rozměrný a přitom skutečně kvalitní displej, kapacita baterie dostatečná, výdrž výborná, v podstatě ve všech směrech je to skutečně ultimátní zařízení, ale ne všechno je úplně dokonalé. Pokud se totiž podíváme na tu zadní stranu telefonu v té černé barvě, tak vidíte, že na tom přístroji docela dost zůstávají otisky prstů a nevypadá to vůbec hezky a samozřejmě, že něco podobného je takto drahému telefonu nedůstojné, nehledě k tomu, že takto rozměrný displej by se celkem snadno mohl zničit při nějakém pádu a nešetrném používání. Sice to sklo je hodně odolné, ale přece jenom ani tento telefon nezvládne zázraky a pokud vám přístroj spadne, tak velmi pravděpodobně se to na tom displeji podepíše. Řešením je samozřejmě nějaké kvalitní pouzdro. Já jsem opět mám možnost vyzkoušet skutečně výborné pouzdro od francouzské společnosti Noreve, která sídlí ve městě Saint-Tropez, a tato společnost mi nabídla možnost vyzkoušet pouzdro pro model Sony Xperia Z Ultra a já se přiznám, že toto pouzdro k tomu telefonu sedí skoro až neuvěřitelně. Přiznávám se, že jsem původně váhal, proč je tady tahle jakoby rýha. Nakonec jsem na to přišel po tom, co jsem několikrát marně bojoval s tím, jak to pouzdro, respektive jak ten telefon dostat do toho pouzdra. Nyní už to vím. Vidíte, že je to velmi jednoduché a stejnou cestou se ten telefon dá také vytáhnout. Pokud ten telefon dáte do toho pouzdra, tak vidíte, že už to vypadá, že spíše v ruce držíte takovou větší, ale tenčí peněženku, nicméně ten telefon tam skutečně padne úplně přesně a vidíte, že v této chvíli je ze všech stran výborně chráněn. Co je výhoda, díky těmto mezerám klidně i z takto zavřeného telefonu můžete uskutečňovat hovory, nicméně vypadá to docela divně, sám jsem to několikrát zkoušel a není to úplně to pravé ořechové. Vidíte, že si to pouzdro můžete takto hezky rozdělat a nyní s telefonem pracovat. Já jsem také váhal, jestli mi to nebude zavazet. Tady tahle strana, lámat to dozadu se mi moc nechtělo, ale nakonec jsem si našel takový úchop, kde s tím přístrojem skutečně mohu bez problémů pracovat a navíc vnímám skutečně to, že se velmi, ale velmi výrazně zvýšila ochrana toho telefonu jako takového, který nyní v tom pouzdru je dobře chráněný jak proti nějakým drobnějším pádům, tak také třeba proti klíčům a podobně. Samozřejmě, že když ten telefon, byť v tom pouzdru, spadne nějak nešťastně přes roh, tak i tak to může mít pro ten displej doslova devastující účinky, ale v tomto kvalitním pouzdru je přece jenom šance, že to telefon bez větších problémů přežije. Ještě jedna důležitá věc, než ukončím toto video. Já už jsem pouzdra Noreve testoval několikrát a dříve jsem ne vždycky byl úplně spokojený, ani ne tak s tou kvalitou, ta byla vždycky špičková a ne vždycky jsem vnímal tolik tu přidanou hodnotu toho pouzdra. Nevěděl jsem, jestli investice na hranici 1 000 korun má smysl, ale nyní musím říci, že v případě modelu Xperia Z Ultra je to pouzdro prostě ideální, zachovává ten tenký profil toho přístroje a ty už tak vysoké rozměry už moc nezvětšuje, takže z mého pohledu skutečně ideální doplněk, za sebe můžu jen a pouze doporučit, moc se mi to pouzdro líbí a jelikož váhám, že se stanu majitelem modelu Sony Xperia Z Ultra, tak už teď vím, že pokud tím majitelem skutečně budu, tak právě tohle pouzdro bude můj telefon chránit, protože u takto drahého a rozměrného telefonu si život bez pouzdra moc ani neumím představit. Za mě pro tuto chvíli vše, já vám děkuji za pozornost, doufám, že se vám pouzdro líbí, budete mít ostatně možnost jeden kousek tohoto pouzdra vyhrát, no a já se těším někdy příště opět na našem webu. Na viděnou!
Siemanko, witam Was w kolejnym odcinku. Dzisiaj pokażę Wam docka, który mogliście zobaczyć przy unboxingu Xperia Z Ultra i służy on do ładowania samego telefonu. Czyli zacznijmy od samej budowy tego wynalazku. Zrobimy tutaj fokus i jest on wykonany z plastiku, ale z plastiku bardzo dobrej jakości, nie powinien on się szybko zarysować. Jest taki matowy. Od dołu mamy troszeczkę gumy użytej, dzięki czemu po położeniu na stole nie powinno nam się tutaj wszystko ślizgać dość mocno. I tutaj mamy oczywiście tą złączkę. Wadą dla mnie może się okazać to, że nie można tutaj tego kabla wyciągnąć i on na zawsze jest tu po prostu przytwierdzony do tego docka. I sam proces wkładania telefonu. Mamy tutaj właśnie taką złączkę, ona jest taka na magnes zrobiona i ma tutaj takie jakby dwa piny. Musimy sobie dokładnie to włożyć, bo nie zawsze to po prostu załapuje. O, teraz myślę, że załapało. No i po samym włożeniu telefonu jest bardzo naprawdę stabilny ten dock i możemy bez problemu sobie jakoś, nie wiem, obracać samym telefonem. Nie wiem, naciskać różne przyciski, odblokowywać i wszystko naprawdę działa tutaj fajnie. Niestety sam proces ładowania moim zdaniem powinien być troszeczkę szybszy, bo telefon ładował się około tam 3 godzin, nawet ponad 3 godziny, więc no myślę, że powinno być to troszeczkę szybsze. No ale sam dock według mnie jest no fajną opcją, bo fajnie to po prostu wygląda. Możemy sobie bezpośrednio na biurku to sobie postawić i fajnym jest też to, że to właśnie tak magnetycznie działa, że po prostu zbliżamy telefon do tego i po prostu się już przytwierdza do tego docka i się ładuje. Przepraszam za powiadomienie. Niestety w zestawie, tak jak Wam już wspominałem przy unboxingu, nie znalazłem żadnej wtyczki, dzięki której bym mógł to podłączyć do prądu, więc musiałem sobie poszukać takiej starej wtyczki, której używałem jeszcze mając iPoda Touch 4. generacji. Nie wiem, ile ona kosztowała, chyba około 30 zł i bez problemu dzięki temu telefon się naładował do pełna. Tak więc uważam, że sam dock jest naprawdę ciekawym rozwiązaniem, ale też powinien się telefon ładować dzięki niemu troszeczkę szybciej. Tak więc to było chyba na tyle w tym odcinku. Ja się z Wami żegnam. Pozdrawiam Was. Cześć!